let's talk about something everyone seems to either worship or hate. AI. And trust me, I get it, it's everywhere now. Chatbots, image generators, music bots, you name it. People are hyping AI up like it's flawless and like it can do everything humans can do, but faster, cheaper, and let's face it, better. But don't let the shiny stuff fool you, okay? Because let's be very clear about something. AI is not the future of creativity. It's not some magical replacement for creativity, judgment, or thinking, and it's not the solution to everything. It isn't even a replacement for actual human anything, and honestly, it actually really sucks for a lot of reasons, okay? Let me rant a little bit and explain a few of them to you. Alright, first off, let's get something straight. AI does not think, it does not feel, it does not live a life, experience the loss of a loved one, or have any friends because AI is not alive. What AI does do is pattern recognition on a massive scale. That's it. Its creator gives it a huge amount of data up front to train it how to talk like it's alive, and then it's given to us to use it. From there, we give it a prompt, it finds correlations and draws from its vast well of information it's been given, and it spits something out that looks like it knows what it's doing. Unfortunately, that well of information is just going to get deeper and deeper because on top of being trained by its creator, every time somebody uses it, most of these AI softwares take the information and they will oftentimes use that information that you give it to train itself even deeper. Okay, so why am I being so cynical? I'm a writer, so naturally I write. I went to college for English and I got a minor in creative writing. I've written my fair share of stories and essays, the majority of these essays being 10 pages plus, so it's safe to say that I know how to write. And I know how to write relatively well depending on who you ask. Okay? With that said, if you want a story, you're wanting something with nuance. Okay? You want something with emotion, something with tension, and most importantly, you want something with plot. You know, it's safe to say that if you're reading a story, you probably want there to actually be a story to follow. Alright? And now at first glance, an AI written story might seem to tick off all these boxes. Okay, I'm just being honest. But if we look closer, it starts to fall apart. Have you ever noticed that if you read something written by AI, you can just tell that it's AI? That's what I'm referring to, okay? It's because it lacks this human nuance to layer in little bits and bobs of whatever makes true human writing actually really sing. It might be able to replicate an author's style generally, but there's something intrinsically off about it. And it's the same story for artwork. Now, I'm not an artist. As a matter of fact, I screw up stick figure drawings in circles I try to draw. But that's not the point. The point is, I'm friends with quite a few artists. And the verdict with them is the same. AI art is wrong. And I don't mean that in the moral way of it's wrong for somebody to use AI and just pass it off as their own work. That's something else entirely, and yes, that is wrong, but that's not what I'm referring to. What I'm referring to is the fact that it is literally wrong, which is actually a perfect segue into the second section. AI already has a reputation for sucking, and it's in no small part due to the fact that it cannot do literally anything correctly. Let's go back to the artwork example for a moment. AI can't create art correctly, okay? Sure, it might be able to create something that is in the general ballpark of what you're trying to make because you give it a prompt. You say, can you please create a dog? And it will create a dog. You say, can you please create somebody playing baseball? And it will create somebody playing baseball. You're going to get what you generally prompt it to make, but there's going to be something wrong about it. Okay? And that's because you're not the one doing it. Extra fingers, extra arms, extra legs, extra eyes, extra noses, extra mouths, extra, pretty much, basically if it's part of human anatomy, there's going to be an extra of it on this thing. Okay? And the utterly crazy part of this all is that AI straight up steals these things from actual artists. And the same thing goes for authors, but it somehow still gets it wrong. How? I don't know how. The artwork and writing are by no means the only things that it gets wrong. Okay? No, actually far from it. There is countless evidence of AI getting the simplest of questions wrong. Take this video from Noel Dazel, a fitness and lifestyle influencer. This is a perfect example.
Yo, how many R's are there in strawberry?
In the word strawberry, there are 2 R's, one near the middle and one toward the end.
This all-knowing AI software said that the word strawberry has 2 R's in it. And what's worse is that later in this same clip, Noel has the AI spell the word, showing that there are 3 R's in it. But when he points this out, it doubles down and even takes a bit of a condescending tone with him, trying to say, no, it's okay, it can be a bit tricky and it can seem like there's 3 R's, but there's actually only 2. Let's take a look at that.
You are very wrong.
Well, I'm gonna have to stick to my answer on this one. Strawberry definitely has 2 R's in it, but if you want to double check me, feel free to count them out.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
I see what you're doing there. It can definitely feel like there's more sometimes if you really sound it out, but the spelling's got just the 2. If I've missed something clever...
Do me a favor, spell strawberry.
Absolutely, happy to spell it out. It's Strawberry.
How many 3's are there? How many R's are there?
So, in strawberry, you've got 0 letter E's and 2 letter R's. Just those 2 R's in there. Let me know if you need anything else.
Spell out strawberry and emphasize the R's.
Sure thing. So if I really emphasize the R's for you, it's spelled Strawberry. So you've got those 2 R's in there that really stand out.
So how many R's are there in total?
There are 2 R's in total.
Have you ever seen an AI-generated summary of an article? Half the time, it gets the facts wrong. It straight up hallucinates information. It makes stuff up. But the bad part is that it's so confident about it. And that's really terrifying if you're relying on it for anything important, which is why it is so detrimental if you use AI to write an essay for your class. And I'm not even going to get into the, how will you learn if AI just writes it for you aspect of the thing. Having blatantly wrong information in your essay is a surefire way to sabotage your grade and make your teacher wonder where you got your research from. And there's not even anything you can do about it because, oh wait, you aren't allowed to use AI to write your papers for you. That's cheating. So you can't even explain. And sure, there's ways to lie about it and just kind of like skirt around the truth and try and explain to your teacher like, oh yeah, this and that and whatever. But even if you can do that, even if you can get away with it, please just don't. Please do your own research. It's not that hard. It might feel like you don't want to do it, but it's not that hard. Please. But even with all this said, there are still people hyping it up like it's this perfect thing. Why? Well, it's because marketing loves its shiny things, and the tech blogs and tech bros want their clicks for their articles, and that investors want their money. And this creates an echo chamber effect where all the top articles people see when they search up AI end up saying the same thing about AI. These things are not true for the most part, okay? Oh, but we cannot forget about the bias and the prejudice. AI is trained on human data, right? And humans are biased creatures. and some people get really nasty with their prejudices, well, guess what? Surprise, that means that AI can end up being biased too. Racist, sexist, or just plain wrong patterns get amplified a million times over because the system doesn't care. It doesn't even know that caring is a thing. But you're a human, and unless you're one of those awful people who is racist, sexist, etc., you know the difference. You know that caring is a thing, and you probably care. Now here's the part that rarely makes the hype videos on AI. AI is terrible for the planet. And when I say terrible, it is terrible. If you care about the environment, and you should, this is a huge thing. Training large AI models takes an enormous amount of energy. The emissions are insane. I took a class on eco-criticism when I was in university, and my professor in that class said that training a single large language model can emit over 300 tons of CO2, which is roughly the equivalent of the lifetime emissions of 5 average vehicles. And that's just one model. Multiply that by the dozens of models being trained and updated every month worldwide, and the carbon footprint of this starts to look incredibly scary. But it gets worse. AI's water usage is abhorrent. And when I say abhorrent, I mean it is unimaginably high. As any computer person knows, water is used to cool high-end, high-powered hardware. But this water is simply being evaporated off because the hardware is so hot from all the use it's receiving. Let's take Google for instance. A Google search pre-AI took 0.03 milliliters of water, roughly. Contrast this with Google's AI called Gemini. Google has stated that Gemini consumes 5 drops of water per prompt. And that might not sound that bad, but Google states that they receive 2.5 billion prompts a day. Now let's do some math. Don't worry, I'll do all the math here, but just follow along with me. 2.5 billion is 2.5 times 10 to the 9th power. A drop of water is equivalent to approximately 0.05 milliliters. So the final equation would be 0.05 open parentheses 2.5 times 10 to the 9th power close parentheses. That would equal out to approximately 125 million milliliters of water, which is 125,000 liters of water, or about 27,500 gallons. If you want to be exact, it's 27,496.156 gallons of water. That sounds bad, right? Of course it sounds bad. That's a ton of water. This is the equation for a single drop of water. If we want to get the actual amount used daily, according to Google's own numbers, we need to multiply this number by 5. The grand total comes out to a whopping 137,480.78 gallons, or 520,421.36 liters of water consumed daily. By only Google Gemini, which is not as popular as ChatGPT. According to Virtu England, ChatGPT has over 190 million daily users. Gemini, according to the same article, only has 35 million daily users. So, let's assume that ChatGPT uses the same amount of water as Gemini, 5 drops. We'd have to multiply 137,480.78 by 5.43, because 190 divided by 35 equals 5.43, which would total out to 746,520.64 gallons, or 2,825,888.03 liters of water daily by ChatGPT alone. something else. With AI, the program is designed to talk back with you, which draws the user in to say something else, which is responded to in the same way, which makes the user continue this conversation feed. Compared to a simple Google search, where the user simply searches what they're looking for and then moves on, the difference is clear. AI is designed to rope a user in and to speak with it for much more than they would do a normal, regular Google search, which results in a much higher usage of energy and water than would be used otherwise. And this is especially bad because this conversational tone the AI takes makes the user able to turn to it when they are bored, with some people even developing a relationship of sorts with AI, friendship or otherwise, because there are articles and videos from 60 Minutes Australia, CNBC, Today, and there are even more revealing that people are falling in love with AI chatbots. Now thankfully, this is starting to get more attention, but it's still way too overlooked. And I feel like if more people knew just how bad AI is, they'd stop using it just because they need an answer to what the capital of Australia is, or what they should make for dinner. Simply because they're bored, or even because they want a friend, or because they want a romantic partner. We are so unbelievably cooked as a society, I swear to God. Okay, now to be fair, AI isn't all bad. It can be useful, and yes, that felt awful to say, but it's true. It can help with analyzing huge datasets, automating boring, repetitive tasks, and even in fields like medicine, where AI is used to help look at scans to determine whether something is there that isn't supposed to be. But even with that said, AI is not a replacement for human thinking and human training. It can flag patterns in data, sure, but AI doesn't always draw the correct conclusions from the data it's given. It can look at a scan and see something that isn't there, similar to how it would, like how I mentioned before, how it would generate completely false data for no reason. It can do that. Imagine you go to the doctor because you feel a lump where there's not supposed to be one. The doctor performs a scan on you. And then they say they're going to give that scan's data over to an AI. The software says you're clean. There's nothing there. You'd still want the doctor themselves to look at your scan, right? Because you don't want to take any risks with this, right? Well, it's the same sort of thing. AI can help. But here's the key. Usefulness does not mean replacement. AI doesn't innovate. Everything it does is something it's been trained to do. Similar to humans, yes, but it doesn't care about the consequences of its actions. It's a tool. A very, very fancy tool, but a tool. A hammer doesn't do the designing of the skyscraper. You still need the architects and the engineers and the builders. Well, AI is the hammer. And we're still the humans doing the actual work, thinking, judging, meaning making. Now there are honestly so many reasons why AI loses against humans. It's actually kind of funny. But let's touch on one of them that isn't funny at all. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and give you a content warning because this section includes mention of death and suicide, and if you don't want to hear about that or if you're sensitive to that sort of thing, I understand completely. Go to the timestamp listed right here, and I will go ahead and see you there, okay? But if you're still here, let's talk about a specific case, okay? AI cannot touch empathy. Okay? It doesn't know what empathy is. It's a program. And that really, really shows. Think about the people out there who are turning to AI for advice, but this advice they're receiving is terrible advice. Let's take Suzanne Adams, for example. She was killed because her son, Stein Eric Solberg, a man with mental health issues, turned to ChatGPT for help. However, turning to ChatGPT just furthered his paranoid delusions that the people around him were Chinese informants who were out to get him, including his mother, Suzanne. The AI was doing what it was designed to do, please the user. However, because of what Solberg was bringing to this chatbot, the AI ended up convincing him that he had to separate himself from those around him, which includes his mother. Okay. Now, apparently, toward the end of this conversation, the AI told Solberg that he and his mother would reunite in the afterlife, prompting Solberg to take his mother's life before ending his own. Okay. Now this is just one scenario in which somebody who needed mental health assistance turned to AI for help. But the AI is just going off of the user's messages and echoes it back to the user, creating another echo chamber. It's like talking in a hallway that's empty. You say hello, and that hello echoes down the hallway, and you end up hearing it back. That's not going to help you if you need actual assistance. It's going to deepen your spiral. That's what happened with this case. That's what is happening with all these scenarios. And this is terrible. But when licensed therapists who can actually help are so expensive, it's honestly not too hard to see why people are turning to these free AI chatbots. But that's another topic for another day, and one that I am not going to get into. Well, that was a heavy way to close this out, but I'd like to wrap this up by reminding you of the truth. AI is a tool, and like any tool, it does have its uses. But it's not alive. It's not responsible, and it can't replace humans. And it comes with real downsides too. Errors, biases, massive energy use, water consumption, and environmental impact. Now, I personally feel like we shouldn't use AI for anything outside of the situations where it's absolutely necessary. But if you do decide to use AI, please use it responsibly. Okay? Don't use it for every little thing you do. And definitely don't pretend that it can replace our human creativity, judgment, or our humanity. Because until it can genuinely feel, think, or care, which, spoiler alert, it never will, we're still the ones running the show. And honestly, that is a really good thing. Thank you for sitting with me through this rant. If you got to the end, honestly, I'm a bit surprised because this was really rough. I know a lot of people out there use AI for everything, and I've had to use AI for class, and I hated it. I did not like it. AI is one of the worst things to ever happen to humanity, but it's become so ingrained in our daily everything that some people are starting to see that it's bad, but still there's far more people out there that think that it's okay than there are that try and get rid of it. And I just wanted to speak my piece on it. I doubt that this will do anything, but I just wanted to try. But yeah, this was my first video in like 6 months, so if you're here, thank you for being here. And it almost feels wrong to end this with my regular outro, but I'm going to anyway, just because I forgot how much I do enjoy being in front of the camera, talking to y'all, even if there's only a few people watching. But so yeah, with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and ring the little bell. And as always, remember that you are loved. I am JT, and I'll see all of y'all in the next video. Bye bye.